Hi, Carl Ford with my pal Doug Tate. Doug, I have no idea what your title is now at Oracle.
I've grown up and now I'm a director.
A director?
Director, yes.
It's amazing how that works out.
It is. Director of product marketing.
Of product marketing.
And
Which
guess
means
which product am I marketing?
something to do with WebRTC?
You are so bright.
Oh, God. I'm good. Now, just out of curiosity, what are the products you have for WebRTC?
We have one in particular, a WebRTC session controller. And the one reason we call it a session controller because it orchestrates what goes on in the web world into the network world. And it requires a high level of orchestration. So that's why we call it a session controller as opposed to a gateway.
Okay. And how do people take advantage of this? Is this doing transcoding? Is it doing security? What kind of things does it do?
You've named a few of them. The whole transcoding or the interoperability world is huge. Whether you're going from device to device or network to network or from the device to the network, transcoding is important. And so there's a lot of transcoding. Thank you, Acme Packets. We brought them on board, and they do a lot of the transcoding for us. So that's probably the biggest thing that we're doing is making sure that we can talk from one domain to another domain. The other areas around security, and not only allow you to log in and either through Facebook or through Google or Gmail, but also from the network point of view, we want to make sure that we can protect the subscribers or whoever's out there on the network, that they won't get spammed or spoofed or calls come in or denial of service coming up from the bottom. And the last area is around reliability. I think this is one of the more important or subtle things that we miss here because we're used to our phones and how they work and the ergonomics there. But the ergonomics around the web are so different. You know, we allow freezers, we allow websites to freeze or browsers to freeze, and then we just restart it. Well, with a phone, we don't like that. You know, if my phone freezes 3 times, I'm moving from one carrier to another carrier. And so you have different ergonomics that we have around reliability that makes the web world more conducive to the communications world and the communications world more conducive to the web world.
Okay, now, before you had on your Acme Packet hat and before you had on your Oracle hat, there was this company that represented the sun and had Java embedded in it. Is there a Java component?
We bought them too.
Yes. Is there a Java component to WebRTC?
Of course, JavaScript, but all Java developers know that's a higher level form of Java. Within our box itself, we do have Groovy scripts as well, which is a level of detail which gets us down into what I'm going to call that session border control type feel. If you're in the web world and you need to do some form of adaptive translation, you go down to that lower level. But for the most part, you're up in the JavaScript realm where the JavaScript's converted to JSON, and then JSON, we take that and convert that to SIP. So as far as Java is concerned, I think we're looking at a higher level of scripting language that we see the HTML5 developers using.
Okay. And are you demoing anything at the show in particular?
Yes, we're showing the WebRTC session controller. How do you show this stuff? Well, we picked at arbitrary just an enterprise application. So right now we're showing how a real estate buyer can buy real estate from a real estate agent and can maybe even show how you can bring in your wife or a third party into that and how we can move that from one platform to another platform seamlessly through the magic of rehydration that's defined in WebRTC. We're also showing the reliability aspects and the security aspects and all those other things I talked about earlier. Also, for a little advertisement, we brought in a partner named Span that took that same type of application in real estate and moved it to healthcare. And so now from a patient can now call a nurse, who can then call a doctor and bring them in through a conversation. All, again, going through our platform, but then how you do media anchoring around that and how media becomes a big player here. Because sometimes you just can't do peer-to-peer. You have to take it and anchor it down to a media device. So we do that dynamically and statically.
Okay, now, I'm afraid I'm going to go beyond the borders of what we normally talk about here, because Acme had...
Like you've never done that before.
Like I've never done that before.
Right.
Because Acme had an enterprise play, and they also had a carrier play with their session controller.
That's right.
Is the WebRTC implementation aimed at one particular market, or does it apply to both? Does it apply to both?
It applies to both. Again, I'll plead that we're Switzerland here. We want to go for both industries. I think Acme brings to the table a large enterprise space, which we're very pleased about. But we see that as far as what we're deploying really applies to both.
Excellent. So, Doug, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Carl. Always a pleasure.